Here. Hope everybody's doing well. I am going to do a quick update for those of you that might be watching this later, and then while people are coming on, I'm going to circle back and say hi to everybody that is on, and then I'm going to go through some more of an update, and then I want to go through the American Rescue Plan Act that has been put into play, and then do some Q&A. And so today is March 12th, and I'm quite excited about what's been put into the law. We do still have some ambiguity. I am right now on my phone here, so I'm going to adjust the lighting just a little bit here, and then I'm going to get onto my computer so that I can see who's on. I can see Glenda, and I'm sure CSR. So great to see everybody. I'll adjust the lighting here in a minute when I get a little further in. For those of you that are going to watch this a little later, I wanted to make sure I'm just adding some immediate value. And then I'm going to get into saying hi to everybody that's on so far, and then I'll do the update. But just real briefly, the new Tax Act, or the American Rescue Plan Act, is in play. You've probably heard. The biggest thing that everybody's talking about is that the $1,400 checks that will be coming out, or the stimulus payments, or the economic impact payment, or rescue payments that are going to be coming out. Rumor is that it'll be coming potentially this weekend. We'll see. I have a few comments related to that as it relates to, should you be filing now or should you be waiting? The unemployment was not as high as hoped, but it is $300 a week. It'll be through September 6th, which is Labor Day. There's now a provision that the first $10,200 of unemployment that you received in 2020 will not be taxable. The IRS will need to update their forms related to that. Here's what's huge, and for those of you that tune into my channel, or you've taken the seminar for the Employee Retention Tax Credit, the Employee Retention Tax Credit has been extended through the end of the year, so it now will be available for third and fourth quarter, and it will be also $10,000 of wages, qualified wages, to employees in each quarter. So in 2021, before this law was put into play, the Employee Retention Tax Credit was for the first 2 quarters, and you could get up to a $7,000 tax credit per employee per quarter, which was $14,000 potential tax credit per employee. Now it's a potential of $28,000 per employee for 2021. Didn't have any retroactive change back to 2020. The sick leave and family paid leave tax credits that the self-employed are also eligible for has now been extended through September 30. The act that came into play at the end of the year extended it to March 31st. It's now been extended to September 30th. The one thing to note on the sick leave and family paid leave is that there is limitations to that, but the limitations start over April 1st through September 30 related to that. Also, there's been a couple of things that aren't that positive. One is that the minimum wage increase, I'm just reporting it, was originally in the bill. It didn't pass the Senate, so the minimum wage amount did not get increased. And there was no extension of the eviction moratorium. So that does expire at the end of March, which is, I know, coming up. The other aspect is that they did not extend PPP. So PPP, as it stands now, still does expire March 31st. I have high hopes that they are going to extend it. My understanding is that Congress is going to Congress is going to address next week whether or not to extend it. I'm surprised I didn't just do it in this one. But nonetheless, the discussion is maybe getting it extended 2 months. We don't know. I do want to clear up some confusion. I think Glenda had emailed me a wonderful article talking about that basically the Federal Reserve, the PPP liquidity fund has been extended to June 30, but that's all behind the scenes. So anything you've heard about that or read about it, indicating that PPP has been extended to June 30, that's only for the banks. And what that means is the banks have till June 30 to basically fund any PPP accounts and work through any of that. That then takes the banks off the hook of behind the scenes of March 31st causing any issues. So the thing to note is that for you to apply for PPP, that deadline is still March 31st. Also, what's not been addressed is the situation where those that applied for PPP 1 and 2, and now they're able to go back and apply for PPP using gross income, line 7, it appears that the SBA has not provided a way to do that. I'm of the mindset that you can. I'm of the mindset based on prior SBA procedural notice that I've put in other videos that came out January 13th, that you are able to go back and reapply based on new rules. Now, I understand that the SBA came out with an interim final rule, and they do indicate, I think Gene pointed out, it was on page 7, and I read the same thing, but what I had gathered when I read it was that you can't just automatically or retroactively get the new calculation for the Schedule C filer based on gross income line 7. I would agree, it's not just an automatic retroactive, but it does indicate that you're not able to go and get an increase. But those that file Schedule F with the law that went into play at the end of December, Schedule F filers were then able to apply for PPP based on their gross income, and they were able to go back and reapply, and it's in the procedural notice on January 13th that they're able to do that. There's no mystery of it. So it seems logical to me that basically the Schedule C filer were able to do the same. Now, I understand the SBA can say no, and so I'm not yet believing that that will be the case, that those that filed for 1 and 2 are going to be locked out unless PPP ends March 31st. So if PPP ends March 31st and the SBA doesn't provide a way to actually do it in their portal, if you will, then I guess that's actually how it's going to play out, which is a crying shame. My hope, though, is that the SBA, being who they are, which is a fabulous agency, would be consistent with what they've done in the past. And what they've done in the past is not let anybody be on the outside looking in. What the SBA has done in the past is find ways to be inclusive. And what we know is when President Biden put into place some executive orders to change this calculation for the Schedule C filers, provided a 14-day period for the SBA to focus in on the smallest of employees or employers, as well as allowing those that have ITIN to be able to apply, and also those that might have had a federal, record, if you will. And my point is that it's always been more inclusive. As we've moved along, the SBA has done a phenomenal job of going, oh shoot, this person was left out. Now we need to go back and find a way for them to be included. And with that interim final rule that they came out with last week, the SBA went out of their way to graciously explain the reasoning for the new calculation being that the majority of the Schedule C filers got very little because it was based on the net income. And getting PPP based on net income did not allow for the Schedule C filer to get any money to cover any of their operating expenses, if you will, unless they had employees. And so the SBA is going down the track of, listen, we recognize that calculation didn't work well. The SBA then further indicated, and I may be getting my percentage wrong, but it was either 40 or 60% of small business owners, Schedule C filers, maybe it was 4%. I'm sorry, maybe it was 40%. Feels like it was 60%. But that Schedule C filers, the majority, that 40 or 60%, are made up of women-owned businesses or minority-owned businesses. I believe that's actually how they worded it in the interim final rule. And so to me, the SBA is saying, hey, we want to make sure that we're being fair, especially to the smallest businesses out there. But then for them to say, oh, but if you already got 1 and 2, you're not going to be able to get any more, doesn't seem like that's the spirit of what the SBA is doing. So I almost wonder if somebody just got the memo wrong. We know we have a new administration. We, I believe, have a new director of the SBA, new people coming in, and the new people that are coming in, I've attended one of their seminars. Seems like a phenomenal group of people, of course, that are here to want to help the small business. There was very much a sincere sentiment coming from the SBA seminar that I attended, that they really want to expand this and ensure that they're helping the small business owner. So to me, it just doesn't seem logical that the SBA ultimately is going to leave those that already got PPP 1 and PPP 2 as a Schedule C filer out of this increased calculation. And here's why I think the SBA is being a little bit maybe like, like a parent. And what I mean by that is that I think the SBA may just know internally, hey, listen, this thing's going to get extended. This PPP is going to be available after March 31st. And maybe their thinking was, let's make sure that those that haven't applied at all get in to be able to apply. So for those small business owners, those Schedule C filers, that they didn't get to apply for PPP 1 or 2 because they had losses. A lot of Schedule C filers have losses because they have special depreciation or mileage deduction or home office. And so from the perspective of the SBA, it may be that they're doing a 1-2 punch on this. The first punch is, well, hey, listen, there's people that already got PPP 1 and PPP 2. Let's just pause for a minute. And why don't we let everybody in that hasn't had anything from PPP first? It might have been less stressful if they would have just maybe said that, if that's their plan. But I think we have to trust in the SBA that they have the small business best intentions. I think that's an obvious here. So I'm optimistic that those that did not get PPP need to get in and get it applied for on your Schedule C, line 7, which is your gross income. And then I'm optimistic that we will hopefully be in a circumstance where the SBA or Congress will extend this, and then that's when they would make it available for those that got 1 and 2 but didn't get the full amount. Tony, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, my friend. You are awesome. I saw that pop up. I know that we've got some comments going in, and I appreciate that. I'm not able to see them other than for like 3 seconds. I'm going to pull up on the screen. I probably should have started by telling you that Amanda has something lined up with her kiddos, and she is taking her 2 boys down to Texas for a quick trip. And because of this and something that I had planned with my son for spring break, we just aren't going to be hanging out together for the next 3 days. And with everything that went into play, I felt like I needed to go live today. So Amanda's not here. You see her in the comments, For those of you that don't know who Amanda is, she is the second half of JJ the CPA. She's my soulmate. If we will, the word that probably might be more appropriate is she's my girlfriend, but at the same time, she is definitely a big part of what we do. So I know she was disappointed that she couldn't be here. Normally with our lives back when we were closed, Amanda came on for the first 5 minutes or so. And typically it was because I was back doing a wardrobe change from working on stuff all day and getting a drink and all that good stuff. One of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that we went live on Friday, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, because this is happy hour. And I got on a call. I just took a 4-hour seminar put on by a group that I have a lot of faith and trust in going through this. And so I've got a summary in a little more detail that I'd like to go through. I know there's a lot of questions, but I also wanted to use this live to provide an update. So for those of you that are watching this later, or for those of you that are gonna check back, I'm gonna now be saying hi to some friends, and to those of you that are subscribers, new and been with us forever, the part of the family. And oh my goodness, Tool Daddy, how are you? Thank you so much. Very, very generous, very generous. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time saying hello, but if you are watching this and you're not really interested in the personal side of the live, just know this. Here's what I'm going to do. When I start doing this, so that you can skip ahead, that way you can skip all the fun stuff that I'm getting ready to talk about. When you see me do this again, that means that I'm going to get back into the update. So you'll be able to just forward and be able to find me doing this again. And then that's where I'm going to go into some more detail. And then I plan to do some Q&A. So what I would say is this, wonderful that you are already being generous and sending me dollars. Sit tight on that if you're wanting me to answer some questions. And the reason I say that is that I'm having dinner with my daughter, Chloe. I don't get to see her as often as I would like. She's not had a good week. She got her second shot for the coronavirus vaccine, and it really put her down. She's really not felt well for about 4 days. She's finally feeling well enough. So I'm going to dinner with her, and we're scheduled to go to dinner at 6 Central Standard Time. So I already know Gene is saying, listen, how is JJ going to get through providing an update, saying hi to everybody, and doing a Q&A? Well, I'm going to do my best, and if there's a lot of unresolved questions, then I'll see if I can't go live at a different time, not later today, but a different time this weekend to try and address your questions. And then know this. I am going to, in a minute, I'm going to adjust some of the lighting in a second. And now I'm pulling up because now I want to see who's on, and want to make sure I say hi to everybody. And normally, Amanda, if you're not familiar again with Amanda is always by my side, and she will already have this lined up. So I need to make sure that I mute this, and let's see, now I'm to the live, and here we are. All right, so hopefully my volume was working okay. This actually looks pretty good. This picture looks pretty good. I think we're in good shape. Let's see. Oh, Glenda, you're so kind. Glenda sent me some birthday gifts that I was going to share with you, and Brian S. Sent me something, and Carrie has sent me something, so I have a few things to share with you all that I got recently. And then thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Karen Kalinsky, CPA, thank you so much. I really appreciate the generosity here in Tool Daddy 75, and Tony Yu, how are you? Hopefully all of you are doing well. Your next shot of Johnny Walker Blue and Amanda's Malibu cocktail on me. Yes, sir, I appreciate that. The last time we went live, we definitely took advantage that night. Thank you, Glenda. Thanks for looking out for us. Glenda, thanks for all you do. You make Amanda and I feel so very special. And I do have my Johnny Walker Blue. And so before I say hello to everybody, I want to pour in a little bit. And whether you, please don't take as I'm drinking Johnny Walker Blue to be any temptation for you, for those that don't want to drink or can't drink or shouldn't drink. So feel free to grab some water or a Coke or a tea or something. But I'm going to have a little Johnny Walker Blue, and we're going to wish everybody cheers. And then I told Amanda, my hope is that we now get back on a regular basis of going live. I know once upon a time, those of you that have been here forever, CSR, Glenda, Fred, the list goes on. We went live every day. I don't know for how long, but literally every single day we went live 2 to 3 hours. It was so wonderful. We were all shut down and at home, and it was just really filled up Amanda and I's lives. And then as we started going back to work, we started doing it 3 days a week, and then 2 days a week, and then 1 day a week. And then as we kind of all got back into the swing of things, I am sorry that I have not been live like I had been in the past. So maybe we'll be able to hopefully change that. Part of what causes that is that Cooper, he's in his senior year. That's my son, Cooper. He's a pitcher. He's a senior. For those that haven't attended a live, I usually share some personal things that are going on, and excuse the sound there. But Cooper, he's in his senior year. He is a pitcher. He's 6'5". He's a lefty, and he has signed with Wichita State, which is in these parts a big-time baseball school. So we're very proud of him for that. It's a D1 college. And Gene McIntyre, thank you so much. And Mexican Iron Man, what's going on? Good to see you. Real quick, so with Cooper, he is in full swing, playing a lot of games now, getting ready to go. Here's something that's exciting. The school has not allowed the teams to do any kind of travel, and usually the baseball team at his high school does a spring break trip. And they've gone to Florida and Arizona. They were supposed to go to Gulf Shores last year. And because of the coronavirus, 2 days before that was happening, that got canceled. There was hope that they would be able to go on spring break this year. They go to spring break and they play tournaments and play high schools from around the country. And usually they're really good high schools. And we're excited that even though we can't travel, thanks to all of you, I'm sharing this because you guys, all of you that click and watch a video and contribute to this cause, if you will, which means I'm monetized. But anyways, I am renting out a huge house that sleeps 28, and I'm taking the whole varsity team on your generosity on spring break to Grand Lake, which is about 2.5 hours east of here, and the 6 coaches. So it's a non-school event, and we made sure it was all proper and legal. Non-school event, but we're going to be able to have a spring break, and I'm treating everybody, and it's going to just be a lot of fun, and Cooper will be able to go out with a bang. What CSR is the word of the day, my friend? Carlos Hurst, thank you so much. That is very generous of you, all of you. Thank you so much for that. Mexican Ironman, just last night had some chicken with our buddies, great seasoning, and your face on the label. You sound great, and I loved your yell out, the biz owner video was awesome through tax season. Hey, I really appreciate that. So what Mexican Ironman's talking about there is if you want to support a small business, a great friend of JJ the CPA, of me personally, is Coach's Pit Barbecue, coachespitbarbecue.com. And back in the pandemic, we got together, and Coach And I said, well, why don't we do a fundraiser? He keeps all the proceeds. So there's a special line of this barbecue rub. You can put on popcorn and sandwiches and whatnot. So Mexican Ironman has that. Okay, I'm gonna have to skip to the bottom here because Card Shop Reality is what? Card Shop Reality is telling me he doesn't know the word of the day. All right, so here's the word of the day, blue horseshoe. Blue horseshoe is the word of the day. I've got my new Captain America mug here. So cheers to everybody. Salute. Happy Friday. Appreciate everybody. So every time I say blue horseshoe, feel free to have a drink of your Coke or your coffee, water, or if you're able to have one. I don't know if John Hamilton is on. John Hamilton usually makes sure that we're doing this. So every time I say blue horseshoe, you might quench your thirst. So I'm gonna say blue horseshoe to everybody. Boy, I tell you what, it does help wet the whistle on that. All right, hey, I've been promising. We've got Donna here. Thank you so much, Donna. I really appreciate that. Make sure that Amanda's not telling me something. And and Gene gave. Okay, we got Gene McIntyre, boom, with the basketball. And thank you, Gene. I really appreciate that. And Donna, thank you so much. Thank you for supporting our profession so diligently. You and your staff are appreciated. Well, thank you, Donna. I really appreciate it. It's so wonderful. Well, I apologize for the lighting. I think it's probably fine. It's a little dark. You know, this is just us and it's our family. So let me pop in here and let's see. We've got IR. Thank you always for the great work. We've got Peter. How are you doing, Peter? Any idea if we will get more funding of PPP for sole proprietors if we're approved on the net before? And I think you were there at the beginning. That is the hope. Peggy, thank you so much. Peggy Daly, thank you so much for that. We've got the Amanda, my soulmate. And let's see, we've got Ed. Yes, American Destruction Act. Well, maybe. It is going to be interesting to see how we pay for it. And then we've got Jean and Charlotte. How are you? We've got, I'll be sure to file my 7200 soon. And we've got Russell McDonald. Russell, we've known Russell since before we probably knew any of you. He's been a great supporter of JJ the CPA, and he's been a part of my 12-week program and great friend. And I think he read one of the first copies of my book, Cracking the CPA Code, gave me some feedback on that. Really appreciate that. We got Wentworth Capital Alliance and Tony Yu. What are we drinking? And we've got Mary Bars and Leanna Holmes. Hello from Tucson. And Pinot. And let's see. Oh, Sarah Kay. How are you, Sarah Kay? I ended up talking, gave a surprise call to Sarah Kay. I think I was on my way to OU Texas game. But anyway, so we've got, and we've got Kathy. Kathy, several banks are not taking PPP backs. Apps, how's that possible? I know it. I had just put a video out yesterday. And then Charlotte saying she hadn't heard anything. And let's see, we've got Yuri from Fort Collins. Big snowstorm coming our way. Holy smokes. Enjoying your live as we speak. And we've got Blue Line Tax and Accounting Services. Happy hour time with JJ. How's the IRS going to handle the 2020 premium tax repayment being waived on the tax return? You know, I'm not sure on that because we also know that the unemployment up to $10,200 in 2020 is no longer taxable. So there's going to be probably, hopefully, maybe within the next week or so, we may have the IRS coming out with some updates. That's our hope. And we've got Kimberly Williams, and I'm probably going to have to circle back, but with Kimberly and Barracuda, good to see you. And we got BVC Nick, and hey, I faxed my 7200 on 8, didn't receive anything. Do you think? Am I considering to fax another 7200? Definitely don't refax it. Keep it in 2020. You're not alone. They are just now still sending out letters and checks, I'd hold tight a little longer on that one. And we've got Phil Anderson. Out stimulus money shows is pending for a deposit already. Holy smokes. Wow, Phil's saying the stimulus money is sitting there already. That is crazy. And we got Michael Pence. My benefit is completely because of JJ and his presentations. Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Michael Pence, I think back in the 80s, there was a martial artist that was not quite a Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he had a lot of movies. I think it was Michael Pence. But anyways, and we've got Card Shop Reality here, but on the phone. Understood. I can't thank you enough in any way other than to say thank you. Go Dodgers. That's right. Let's see. Phil didn't qualify for the second round of PPP, but should be getting 10K EIDL grant. Okay. Well, Phil, I'm glad to hear that. Stay tuned. Hopefully, I don't recall if you're Schedule C, but hopefully we'll be able to see that you're able to get more with the second. We've got RK spoke with someone in the Chicago SBA office, and they were adamant that they won't be recalculating a net versus gross on C. Yeah, RK, I think that's unfortunate. That's probably basically what they're saying right now, because the banks are not seeing any other way to go about it. So what I had said at the beginning hopefully will come into play. Let's see. Oh, we got Tony D. What's going on, my friend? And we've got Jason. Thank you for the thumbs up. I was able to get, Leanna says, I was able to get first PPP through the bank Chase, but the second draw using net. But it seems they're giving me a hard time. Applied February 5th. They responded on February 20th. I will tell you this, if I'm saying your name right, Leanna Holmes, what you might consider is withdrawing that application if you're a Schedule C filer, so that you're under the new PPP calculation, and you can go to another bank. You don't have to go to the same bank, but you probably would want to hurry and withdraw that application ASAP. How long after filing 941s do you receive a refund? On the 7,200 refund, they're usually, the goal was 10 days. They've reconvened, and it seems like it's a couple of weeks. On the 941, you're probably looking at a longer period of time. I am not sure under these circumstances related to that. Let's see, Wampley and Chase giving me the runaround. I've been seeing this wording Wampley. I don't know if they're a group that's reputable or not. Let's see, Jason, any thoughts on converting 1099ers to W-2 where the company's ERTC for Q1 and Q2? Well, I will tell you this, if you have 1099ers that they're really employees, you would want to just get them to be an employee or not. I don't know that you would be able to just turn somebody into a 1099 if they're not really an employee. So probably what I would back up and say is that if they should be employees, make them employees, and then if you benefit from the ERTC, then you benefit from the ERTC, and then they'll need to stay on as employees. Let's see, Tony D, the best. Congrats to Cooper. Thank you for that, Tony. Tony is a part of our Group 51, and really appreciate you, my friend. And we got Peggy, thank you again, and Donna, thank you again, and Carlos Hurst, you guys are so generous, and Karen Kalinsky, CPA, and Tool Daddy 75, and Tony U. Thank you so much, guys. It's always so unexpected. I really, really appreciate the generosity on this. And let's see, Hooked on Jeeper Productions, and okay, so you had a loss, so hopefully you'll be able to refile, get that done. Let's see, quarterly loss, 24.4, so close but no cigar. Well, Phil, make sure you're looking carefully, I'm sure you already have, at what's been included in gross income. Remember, PPP, EIDL, any other grants, tax credits, those are not part of gross income for PPP calculation purposes. And so look at that carefully. Make sure that you're feeling comfortable since you were so close. You know as well as I do, Phil, I'm not advocating that you do anything incorrectly, but make sure you're taking a great a close look at that, because if you need the help, hopefully you will be able to get that. Let's see, Tony, Anytime Amanda, and Card Shop Reality. Sorry I'm not able to chat much today on the phone instead of the computer. And we've got Austin Vibe, contributions in 2020 Roth IRA, still due by April 15th, new deadline June 1. Amanda, did the IRS, well, Amanda may not be with me still. Maybe I missed it because I was on a seminar and then talking to clients and then came on the live. Has the IRS announced that the due date is now June 1st for any reason? Let's look here. IRS deadline 2021. Is there any breaking news on this? Let's look. Nope, should seriously consider. So I don't see anything. The IRS is being asked by many people. So I don't know where the June 1 would come into play if you're in Oklahoma or Texas, and I think Amanda told me another state was added to that today. It would be April 15th is the short answer. And then check whoever's doing your investment advisor, check with them and see what their answer is on that in case you have something different. All right, and we've got Jean, and we've got Glenda, Boss Lady, and we've got Charlotte. Thank you so much for being on. And yes, Kathy, the better half. And we've got Ed. Wow, Amanda is taking a vacation in March. JJ must be one great boss. Tax season. Well, here in Oklahoma, our deadline is June 15th. So we're able to kind of take a deep breath there. And so anyways, with Tool Daddy and Tony and Phil and Joni, thank you so much, Joni. Joni says, you're the best, JJ. I love it. And let's see. Got a number of questions here. I think I've already answered. With Flying Colors. Yo, what's up? With Flying Colors is our niece out in California. Sarah K, I applied for PPP 1 back in 2020, gave it back at time of, for PUA, resubmitted PPP 1 gross. Well, that worked out well, Sarah. That should work well because if you are in a circumstance where you gave it back, it turned it into an ollie oxen free. Karen and Glenda, thank you again. J. Mark, why can't we comment on videos now? Well, part of it is that as a CPA, I appreciate you asking. Dax, who's a CPA, we were emailing about this. Really what it comes down to is with so much going on as a CPA, my concern is, and I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but I don't find that I'm having proper amount of time to go back to the comments, and when people are asking questions, I feel like I'm leaving them hanging if I'm not able to go back and answer. Also, as the number of subscribers have increased, which I'm so thankful for, I get a lot of people that are landing in, and when I look at their questions, they're not even a subscriber. And I appreciate those that are watching a video that are not subscribers. That's okay. But what I'm hoping is that maybe going live a little bit more, or those that have tuned in before and they're part of the family, they know how to get a hold of me otherwise. And so I don't mean that with any disrespect, because the subscribers that I've gained over time, I just love and appreciate. I'm at 64,100 as of now. And then I'll be honest with you on the other part. My concern is that if somebody with the first one, if somebody's now waiting for my answer to do something with so many things that are time sensitive, I just didn't feel it was fair. So I kind of felt like it was just better to turn off the comments, and then that way there wouldn't be any misconception that I was either going to be able to provide an answer, they wouldn't be waiting for an answer on that. And so you'll notice there have been a few that I've left the comments on, and part of it is I'm wondering what the questions are. But I think the last one I did on that was related to unemployment, and it was the same thing. I'll be honest with you, I left the comments on, some things came up, and I wasn't getting back to the comments. I just went back to them yesterday, and there were a number of comments on there that I think people were waiting for an answer, and I feel bad that I wasn't able to provide it. So thank you for asking that. J. Mark. Maybe not as many people are as interested in my videos as we move along. Notice usually on my tax videos I'll leave comments on. So that's why. I appreciate you asking those, so that, and Charlotte's noticing that, and Wentworth. Let's see, we've got Mark. Let's call it what it is. You guys are just fooling around. Yep, maybe. That is true, Mark. And let's see, Sarah K, birthday. Yes, I don't have a birthday this year. I'm a leap year kiddo. And but I always celebrate on the last day of February, so we did celebrate. And one of the great gifts that I got, you saw I was wearing on the picture or the thumbnail to this live, which is this jacket right behind me. And while we're at it, I got this jacket behind me. As I told you, Amanda has given me a number of things related to Captain America. For those of you that are maybe newer to the channel, the Captain America thing is, I want to thank Justin McAuliffe, CPA, back at the beginning of the beginning, meaning back in the summer of 2018. He said, you know, you're like a captain. You're like Captain America. You're like America's CPA. So anyways, Justin did that, kind of stuck. So I got some fun things here from Amanda. And then I got from Amanda's son, they gave me some gifts, but Amanda's son, Nick, he is 15, but he was gracious enough. He's a cool dude, but he was gracious enough that they bought a Lego set here. And so it's a Captain America Lego set, and the top comes up and a little Captain America pops out, which is kind of cool. It's kind of the Iron Man part. And then I got, this was a little while ago. I don't know if Carrie's on, but Carrie gave me this. This was a while back. It's really nice. It's wood, kind of an old school Captain America. So I really appreciate that. And then, let's see, Amanda gave me this. This is kind of a funny one, but here's my face, but it's a Captain America outfit. She said when she bought this that she thought it was about this big, but it ended up being a little bit smaller. But for my birthday also, I got, Glenda sent Captain America Street. You can't see it, but right here I have JJ the CPA drive that she sent that's in pretty much every video. And also she sent this block that I've got now in my background of Captain America. And then I got this little figurine of Captain America as well. And then Brian, we didn't know who it was. We had to do a little investigative work. But Brian S., his wife drew this for me. So this is like a little chalkboard. And of course, you all, if you've been following, you know that I've written 2 books. And this is the cover. Amanda designed the cover of my first book. It came out in the fall of 2018, well before you all know who I was. But anyway, she turned me into a caricature or a cartoon, whatever. Anyway, so Brian S.'s wife was very gracious and put this together. So that's now also in our background. And for those of you that don't know, Glenda and her granddaughter, Leah, have done a number of scenes. And let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to step over here for a second. But this is really how my friends go, wow, I mean, you are JJ the CPA, because Glenda, being so gracious, if you're able to see this, this was the one of the first things that she had sent us, and we have all the pictures of some other scenes and with Coach. But this is, if I was facing the other way, this is the set, and this is basically the original set. And so as you can see, she used the Playmobil characters and some dollhouse. And you got to remember, this is during the pandemic, and things are closed and school was closed. And So Glenda and her granddaughter Leah put together this scene. And so there's the desk, and you can see the intricacies because there's my computer. I've got some money, and then here's Amanda, and it's got the phone, and I'm on the screen. So anyways, we just still love that. This is typically in the background of the set as well. So really appreciate the support on that. And then I probably am remiss because I haven't gotten down to the comments, but Rob of Imagine That Toys, I'm pretty sure I saw that he was on, I just haven't got down to it. But we've always had this. This is from Imagine That Toys up in Wichita. They were part of our makeshift reality show that we were doing last summer. Yeah, it was last summer. And so Rob and Gwen and Paula and Al, the owners of that, but you always see this in the background. And the last thing I'll show you, and then I'll get back into the comments here, is we've got God Dozer. He sent me one of this, and then we have so many other things, so I don't mean to be remiss, but I don't want to just keep going on and on. But just thank you all for the generosity. I know Alyssa also sent us a wonderful note and card, and we've gotten some others. Dax sent me a funny Christmas card, or maybe it was New Year card or something to that effect. And so anyways, for those of you that send me mail, send me notes, send me letters, send me gifts, it just really makes my day, clearly. So Amanda and I appreciate that. And thank you for being on for the live. Thank you for always supporting what we're doing. You guys are very generous on this. Thanks for those that are coming to the seminars that I've been putting on. Let's see. I want to continue on here, but let's do this. Blue Horseshoe, if you just joined us, happy Friday. I am going to get into some update. I've got some Q&A I'm going to do, but happy Friday. Blue Horseshoe is our word for the day, and Blue Horseshoe is a code that was used in the first movie, Wall Street, and it basically meant Gordon Gekko. So if you know who I am, you know that Wall Street has been a part of my past. But anyways, Blue Horseshoe, everybody. Salute, appreciate you. Join me if you will. Drink a coffee, a Coke, a water, or I've got some Johnny Walker Blue right here because you guys are so awesome. All right. And we've got Karen, appreciate you. And we've got Deanna C. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you, Amanda, for being on. Hopefully you're not driving right now. I know that you're about to get on the road. Not the Johnny Walker Blue with flying color says. Jackie, what's the difference between Johnny Walker Red Label and Blue? Mostly the cost. But the red is just not as aged versus the blue is really the main thing. And we've got Carol. Carol says it's hard to hear you. Is it hard to hear me, Amanda, if you're still on? Hopefully that's not the case. I apologize if it's been hard to hear me. Let's see. And we've got BVC Nick and Kathy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Happy Friday. And we've got One Cool P. You know, One Cool P, if I remember correctly, was something different, and then she changed it, and I think I might have said it was Cool P1, and then now, but I said it right. We got One Cool P. Hope you're doing well. You've been with us from the beginning. Dale Christian, thank you for all your wisdom. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You certainly helped pass the time during a 3-week hospital stay due to COVID. Oh my gosh. Well, Dale, I'm glad you're out. Appreciate that. And let's see. Phil, you might be talking about when I dropped the bottle, but it did survive, did not break. And Gene, thank you so much. And Jess Sherman, thank you for that. Amanda, did you text me? I don't know if Amanda's still on. Let's see. And want to see if what she says about my volume. So I'll text her and we'll see. Oh, and there's Alyssa. There's Alyssa. Remember that. Oh my goodness. What would we have done without JJ? Thank you so much, Alyssa. And yes, Sarah K. Southpaw talking about Coop And we've got Alex, and we've got Lisa, CPA. Congrats to Cooper. Thank you for that. And Rob, hope you're doing well. Amanda says volume's good, so that's good. Rob, regardless, JJ is live when we need him. Thank you so much. And we've got Robin, thank you. And let's see, One Cool P, never got my EIDL Advance, still waiting on PPP2. Have not gotten PPP1 forgiveness yet. That's my update. So One Cool P, maybe go to a different bank. The SBA came out in January, and in their initial guidelines, they made it clear that for you as the borrower, if your bank is not getting the job done, that you are allowed to go to a different bank. So if the PPP hasn't come through on the 2, and believe your Schedule C, but get reapplying, let that bank know you don't want it to go through, you want to withdraw it, because then you can do it on the gross. Get to another bank for your PPP2. The SBA said they're tracking it closely enough, they're not going to let 2 loans go out. On the EIDL Advance, the SBA is supposed to be sending emails out, and then you apply for the targeted grant there. Let's see. And we've got Valerie Clark, hope you're doing well, and Robin, and Tax Slayer, what up, what up? And you got your mug on and everything, that's right. And let's see, Card Shop Reality, and we've got RK. Let's see, decided not to accept. Is it possible to reactivate the application? RK, on the EIDL loan, my understanding is you can do one of 2 ways, and there's a little inconsistency. You can either just go reapply or get a hold of the SBA if you have a loan number or an application number. So I know you said you didn't take the loan, but if you got it far enough that you had a loan number, you just didn't take it, call the SBA. They'll give you most likely the best course of action to take. All right, Kathy, yes. All right, so I see it. Alyssa said Blue Horseshoe. I know it was up further in the comments, but Blue Horseshoe. And we've got Brad Johnson. How about your Captain America face mask? That's right. Brad had sent that to me, and I have not yet had it in a video. Brad is a fellow CPA up in the Northeast, and he got me this right here, this face mask. And it's pretty good because it's got the spot where you can put the, and I've got the inserts, the filters, if you will. Let's see, and we've got Gen X Coffee House and 516 Salute, and we've got Farukabad and Teresa, thank you, and Kevin D. Can a sole proprietor with 0 employees in 2020 use ERTC to hire an employee now? You can use ERTC on employees as a sole proprietor, but it would be on the wages that you're paying now, not retroactive, if that's what your question is. And let's see. And we've got Media Sam. Can we talk business? And let's see. We've got Greg Granda. Hello. Gene, you only have 40 minutes to have to consider drive time to dinner. This is true. And we've got Derek. Are you looking to get some type of certification so you can get CPE credit for your seminars? Derek, thank you for asking. Yes, I am in the process with NASBA right now, doing the application process to be a sponsor of CPE so that I will be able to provide CPE. And I think, Derek, I appreciate you asking, but I think that if we were to fast forward a year, many of you may still be hanging out with Amanda and I, which I appreciate, but we won't have PPP and ERTC and all the stimulus because we should just be out of this and back rocking and rolling. And then it's going to be down to kind of the CPA and numbers and accounting. And bottom line is I think that the CPE could be something that would be great that comes out of this. And so, yes, I plan to get that and then also be providing things that are very much, anybody can tune into, but definitely geared towards people getting their CPE. Let's see. I'm reading your lips, J. Mark, and we've got the Ghetto and Melissa. And oh, thank you, Melissa. And we've got James. Let's see. Got it. And then let's see, Maria. I've read several articles that the House Small Business Committee introduced legislation Thursday to extend the Paycheck Protection Program. Maria, you are on point. Hopefully that'll come into play. Let's see. Yep, Ed, that's what it says now. That means that it will process after 3/31, meaning my understanding, you got to apply. Some banks are interpreting it has to apply and you have to have it funded. But I do think as long as you apply to be safe, get after your bank, try and make sure you've got it. But I think that's why behind the scenes, I think it's called the PPP Liquidity Fund. Glenda sent me an article on that, and they have through June 30, and that just means that there would be time after March 31st, but I don't interpret that we are able to apply after March 31st. So if you're not finding your banks getting it done, then get after it and stay after them related to that. Captain Blue Horseshoe, Card Shop Reality says, so salute, that's our word of the day. And we've got Melissa CPA, love the videos, been listening since the first one about PPP. Well, Melissa, I really appreciate that. Truly honored to have a fellow CPA, tax professionals, and EAs that are tuning in. And hopefully you heard we'll be doing some CPE that would make that wonderful. All right, and we've got Deanna F. Thank you so much. JJ, you're the best. Thank you for your generosity of time and great information. I really appreciate that. Let's see. I'm not sure what to see. Oh, and we've got Stacy. Stacy, love the Lego. Stacy, hope you're doing well. Hope your daughter's doing well as well. We sent some Captain America masks and also to Leah. And thank you, Deanna. Happy belated birthday. And okay, Chase just said March 19th, they're accepting applications, maybe not accepting applications. Let's see, and Glenda and Derek, smell home office deduction, yes. And Sarah K, and we've got Janice, what is the process of the PPP? Get with your bank ASAP, they'll walk you through that. Mark, do you agree that any dependents between 17 and 23 should file their own return and claim the $1,800 stimulus if the parents make too money for the stimulus and college credits? So it's $1,400, and it is $1,400 for the adults. If you have, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit, but if you have a dependent and they're not a dependent, meaning they don't qualify as a dependent, the answer is yes. But the way the tax law reads is that if somebody can be claimed as a dependent, then they are considered a dependent. So this is just working knowledge. This is a rule of thumb. This is not anything for anybody to misinterpret. This is just how I've done it with my clients. And you have to remember, I have a specific type of client. But once a kid gets in their junior year, if they have a job, they're getting scholarships or they're getting loans, that's not directly the parents paying for their schooling. So I think the first question to look at is, do they qualify as a dependent or not? And then if they really don't qualify as a dependent, then I would say, heck yeah. And so I know this, we've got a client and their kiddo didn't decide to pursue going to university, going to community college, and then working, the son's working his butt off and, paying rent and things to that effect. And it's like, that's somebody that they should qualify. Even though they're 18 years old, they are in a circumstance that they would qualify. Now, I've got another client and their kiddo's a sophomore. They don't have any scholarships. The parents are paying for the schooling and kiddo's, made about $1,700. So I don't think that qualifies. And so I just think you want to look at the dependent. But Mark, know this, I don't think there's anything wrong with really looking at it to ensure that, everything's looked at properly and then, just not manipulating. Of course, I know, Mark, you're not indicating that at all, but good question. I was going to talk about it later, but I'm glad to cover it now. And let's see. We got Kevin D, sole proprietor, zero. Oh, I guess I'm, either that was a repeat. We've got Greg, how you doing? And, well, I guess I skipped back up. We've got James and Terry, and, well, it skipped all the way to the bottom, so hopefully I didn't miss too many people here. Dale and Derek, and let's see, just giving shout outs. Here we go. Oh, Cupcake Paper, hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Calvin Brown, I'm a YouTube driver. Do I pay myself weekly with PPP? How do I pay myself? Well, go to my playlist that says self-employed PPP, because you don't pay yourself. PPP doesn't work that way. It's a simple filer. Doesn't seem logical, but that is definitely the case. And we've got Monica Lamb. Great to see you. I have a client, Monica Lamb. I know that this is different because she spells it with a C. And let's see, we got Monster J. What's the likelihood of the 331 PPP deadline will be extended? I'd probably put it at about a 75% chance that they extend it. The biggest reason why I would think that is that they just put a bunch more money into PPP, and they still have a bunch more that's been allocated for PPP. And I think we saw in the last administration, the money that was left over, the U.S. Treasury said, well, we got to kind of just ball it up and put it towards future stimulus. And so it's not just, well, we didn't have to give it out, now it goes back in the general fund. So since they've got the money there and they put more money into it, I think it's going to extend. We got Fish Patty. So Fish Patty, stay tuned on that one. Right now, it doesn't seem there's a way to do it. Barry Stanley, I used non-filers last year to receive the 2 stimulus, but the account closed. So this year I filed taxes, used another bank, and received my return there. Where will the next check go? You know, Barry, I hope it goes. It makes sense that it would go to where you filed last. That'd be my hunch, my hope. Let's see, we've got Robert Bullard. Do you have to wait for an email to invite on the SBA to get the extra amount? You do. They made it clear in a memo that you have to wait on the email, but you know, it's been long enough, Robert, that they did provide a 1-800 number. So if you go to the video and it says SBA of mine, SBA update is probably 3 weeks ago. I haven't done an EIDL SBA update. I haven't done a specific video on that in a few weeks, but you'll go and find it. My point in you finding the video is that in the body of that video, you will find a, you will find a link to the memo that the SBA put out. And at the bottom of the memo is the phone number that you can call. Now, I don't know if it was a specific phone number to the EIDL or grant or not, but the phone number said they're not gonna be able to give you a status, but you can call and in essence check on things. They're not gonna be able to give you a status of your application per se, but that might be a way to go. Karen CPA, Karen the CPA, CK the CPA, do you think the SBA is holding up forgiveness applications because clients in the SBA hold heirs and did not get PPP2 forgiveness applications over 100 days by bank and have not received PPP2? Well, that's interesting. I have not come across that. Karen, the few that I've known that have applied, it's happened very quickly. I don't have any of my clients other than 2 that went rogue because their bank held up another loan, and that bank got a piece of my mind for requiring somebody to file a PPP forgiveness application when they were not otherwise required. It very well could be the case, Karen. They might be honestly doing it potentially to maybe their benefit. I do know this, if somebody has received forgiveness, they are not able to reapply for the first draw if they're able to reapply. Tool Daddy, quick question, and Tool Daddy, thank you so much for your generosity. Holy moly, what is one cool P, $150? That is, I think it's probably the second biggest one or the biggest one Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Hello, yes, I did get my EIDL loan approved and funded. 30-year payment plan, 1 year before first payment is due. Got my first COVID-19 vaccine and looking to open up new business in 2021. Thank you so much for all your help. Well, I love it. I'm glad that you got the EIDL. That's one thing I've indicated is why not get it? If you don't need it, we can always pay it back. And then 30-year plan, 1 year before the first payment is due. Gotcha. I love it. Well, thank you for that. One Cool P, you are very generous. That is awesome. Let's see. Let me go back up here and let's see. I think I answered these and let's see. I see a name here. Maria talked about that and all right, so we're at Karen and Tool Daddy. Oh, Tool Daddy, quick question, JJ. The last 5 years, I've always gave my son a 1099. Should I hire him as an employee to get the employee retention credit this year? Well, the employee retention credit is definitely not available to kids. And I don't mean that they're kids, an adult, they could work full time. I hear you on the 1099. Would it make sense for them to be a W-2? At the end of the day, from the perspective of the employee retention tax credit, the family is not able to be included. I'm of the most recent opinion that the owners and the spouses are not to be included in the ERTC. There's a number of CPAs that don't agree with that. I wish the IRS in their most recent IRS notice would have just made it clear. They again just went to the code section. I've got a couple of CPAs that we've been going back and forth and looking at it. And there is a national research company, Reuters, Thomas Reuters, and they have the same opinion that the owners do not qualify. The thing about it is it's an employee retention credit. So it's an employee of the business and you're there to retain them. So the reason family's excluded is that the business, they're going to retain them or not, they're family. Same thing with the owners. And one of the things is Mike, who's a CPA out in California, that we converse a lot back and forth. When he and I, we kind of had a light bulb moment, V8 moment, that when you really look at the definition of a related individual, it indicates that if the taxpayer is a corporation, then the related person to the corporation is a more than 50% owner. And I believe that family attribution rules apply to that. It would be wonderful. Now, I'll tell you this, the American Institute of CPAs has asked the IRS to make it clear. So there's no way that I'm on the outside looking in and 99% of tax professionals and CPAs and EAs are all concluding something different than me. You really can't find many articles about it on point. They're kind of split. I think it's, in my opinion, safer to not claim the employees that are owners, but I do feel it's clear that you're not able to include the kiddos. So great question on that. I wanted to address that because I was going to address it later. So thank you, Tool Daddy. Great question on that. And then roll the tape. Were you a pitcher? I was. I was a right-handed pitcher. And I think one of the reasons my son ended up becoming a lefty is really without thinking about it. When he was, just started walking, we would, throw the ball around, but I would have fun showing him how to pitch, just like for fun. And he would stand in front of me, of course. And so I think by being mirroring me, it caused him to basically do things left-handed. Now he writes with his right hand, but swings a golf club and a bat and throws left, but does all the fine motor skills on the right. But yeah, I was a pitcher growing up, and so it's awesome to see Cooper doing that. He's so dedicated, works so hard. And all right, and we've got PJ, hi, not happy today, found out can't reapply for PPP using gross I would agree with you. PJ, stay tuned. I think they're going to be changing that. And let's see, we've got Kira. Hello. That would be great to get CPE credits for your videos. I hope that happens. Thank you. Yes, I definitely am going to make that happen. Calvin Brown, good to see you. And let's see, how do I pay myself PPP as an independent contractor? Go to that self-employed playlist for PPP, because by law you're not able to, which means that you don't have to do anything. You're just going to fill out that PPP forgiveness application, do the calculation, and you're done. There's no payroll that you have to worry about. And then we've got FM Accounting PC. Great to see you. Thanks for being on. Do you think the 4/15 deadline will be extended nationwide? I do, because the IRS seemed to call uncle, if you will, by indicating that if there was another stimulus package that passed, that they seemed like they were saying, then we will extend the deadline, or then we'll strongly extend the deadline. Here's the reason that they need to do it. And my fellow CPAs and EAs and tax professionals, I say humbly, it's not about us. And anytime that I've gotten into minor conversations about this, mostly on Twitter, it seems that the sentiment is, for those that don't want to move the deadline as a tax professional, is that they got crappy clients, is really what it comes down to, in my opinion. Or maybe they're just a little burned out. So no disrespect, because it's more, the comments are, well, I just want to get my tax season over. I don't want to waste my summer. Or, you know, if I have an extended deadline, then that means they're just going to bring the shoebox to me later. And so I always have kind of fun. I might not often poke the bear, but I'll poke on that one a little bit to say, well, this isn't about you, okay? This is about the client and the taxpayer. And if you have clients that bring you stuff late, then why don't you just fire them? And if you don't like what you're doing, maybe you have too many clients. You don't have to do something new, but maybe you have too many clients that, you know, you should fire some and raise your rates and stop working all-nighters and improve your life, versus being grumpy about the IRS moving a deadline. You know, with my clients, we already got our deadline moved. We're still rocking and rolling. I'm glad to have a little more relief. But here's the biggest reason why that deadline needs to be moved, in my opinion, is that there are plenty of Americans out there that are going to owe tax, and penalties start to accrue April 15th. The whole thing that we hear is, well, you can just file an extension. Well, of course you can. But an extension does not extend your time to pay any tax. So penalties start to accrue on April 16th. Penalties and interest. So I also don't understand, because it's mostly the tax professionals, and probably about 40% of them, then they're like, well, that's the client's problem, or the client can set up a payment plan. It's like, why are you even in this business? Like, I wish your clients would see that and then fire you as a tax professional, because that doesn't even make any sense. You don't care if your client is treated punitively or your client's having penalties and interest. Like, why are you even doing this business? At the end of the day, the April 15th deadline moving to June 15th is some compassion from the government that does nothing more than just give a little more time. It's not giving out any stimulus. It's not giving out another check. What it's doing is not collecting penalties and interest from people that don't have the money to pay. Now, if you have the kind of clients that they always owe, then you're in a situation where then your clients are always going to owe. But why wouldn't you want them to maybe have a couple of extra months to not have penalties and interest on that? So here's the interesting thing. The only people that seem that they don't want the deadline to move starts with the IRS commissioner, great person, starts with the IRS commissioner, and then 40% of tax professionals based on, polls. Well, why are we basing it on what tax professionals want to do anyways? I mean, we're the ones belly aching at it, but why are we belly aching about it? We're belly aching on behalf of our client. And I think a tax professional that belly aches about theirs isn't necessarily probably have the right client group. So hopefully what you're hearing from me is I'm not criticizing the tax professional. What I'm telling the tax professional is, why don't you fire some clients? Why don't you raise your rates? Why don't you just stop working Saturday? Why do you take on clients that bring you crap documents? That's what you're upset about. You're not upset about a deadline. You're upset that you don't have clients that you like working with, or you have some that you don't. All right, so I'm going to step off the soapbox there a little bit, and I would feel that most those that have a client list that they like working with, we always have a few that, it's like, they got their stuff to us. But if you have a good client list, so I know I've talked with Karen, I've talked with Chris, they both have been gracious enough to hire me for some consults, which is, I just so much respect for that. But I would assume, and probably those of you that are on here, you have the kind of client that if you're like, man, get me your stuff, they're gonna get it to you. And if you have clients that are gonna owe, you're helping them. Like, well, man, you need to pay in more estimates. So at the same time, I understand that the deadline potentially somehow, puts the IRS further behind. How? They have 7 million returns that they haven't processed from 19. And I don't think Amanda would mind me sharing. Amanda still hasn't gotten her refund from 2019, and her preparer is JJ the CPA, and she doesn't have her refund. And when we call the IRS practitioner line, and when we go online, it just said, oh yeah, we got it, still in process. Oh, we got it, still in process. We got it. We don't know what to tell you. We can't do anything about it. Why doesn't the IRS take a little breather, right? Maybe a little blue horseshoe for, and I'm being sincere when I say this, our hardworking friends at the IRS. I mean, they keep me in business. I love the IRS, but let's do a little blue horseshoe to the IRS agents out there that are working their tail off. Why doesn't the IRS give them a little break to say, hey, why don't you just get caught up on 2019? Why don't we just put our efforts in, folks, and we'll get caught up on 19, get things amended. Let's take a breather. How about we all enjoy Memorial Day, and then we'll have our deadline, and then we'll get back into hopefully the normal. So blue horseshoe, for those of you that are just joining, blue horseshoe is our word of the day to say cheers. So grab you some water or Coke or coffee or tea, or I've got a little Johnny Walker Blue, and I appreciate y'all. All right. Let's see. I have a feeling I am not going to get here. Look at these are all the pages I have to go through. I was going to give an update. So probably what's going to happen is I'm just going to have to record this update because I'm enjoying too much. J-Mac. I'm enjoying too much visiting with everybody. And I do have some questions that I'm going to go through that aren't in the questions here. But we've got Tammy and James. Do you think the reason the SBA is going to give out grants to low-income areas is because the loan would never be paid back? I think it's just that those low-income communities probably have, I'm just forecasting, maybe a harder time rebounding. And so that's why I think that they are done, because the EIDL grant never has to be paid back, and obviously with the PPP as well. Can I apply for PPP2 when PPP1's not been forgiven? Yes, Tammy. And we've got Jackson Lee. How about the idea of filing a petition via your channel to the SBA asking to reconsider the application to increase the amount to the gross? That's probably a good idea. I did do a video a couple days ago, and I said, SBA, got it wrong. And very respectful video, I hope, but indicating that I think they got it wrong. Let's see, Sarah K, what would be the duration of time for you to file PPP1 and PPP2 based on the gross? My understanding is it has to be 8 weeks apart based on the most recent IFR. And so obviously no one would be able to get PPP1 on the gross and then PPP2 on the gross before the 31st as well. S Corp, no W-2, other options do I have besides PPP? So basically the EIDL would be your number one turn to that you can apply on at SBA.gov. We got Dax. Good to see you live again, my friend Dax. I was just talking about you that we were doing some back and forth talking about the comments and not having the comments on right now. Let's see, JJ, the people need to know who loves Anacott steel. Please answer. Blue Horseshoe loves Anacott steel. Cheers to you. Thank you, CSR. Thanks for being on, everybody. All right. And we've got Charlotte, Schedule C, line 31 was so low, so sad. Yes. And Charlotte, if yours hasn't gone through, I think you said maybe it hadn't, withdraw it and go apply on the gross. And let's see, we've got Rod, spoke with a nice lady. She said she received an email this morning. And let's see, shoot, lost it. Here we go. Oh, wow. I better hurry up here. Let's see, Amanda, I'm falling behind. Oh, goodness. Well, I may have lost it. Oh, sound is back. Okay, dang it, no sound. We're good now. Shoot. All right, well, I'm going to just now, here's what I got to do. Dax, Charlotte, Rod spoke with a nice lady at the SBA today. She said they received an email this morning. The deadline for PPP will be extended until May 30. Awesome. Yeah, I believe it. We got to get it out there. Let's see. FM Accounting PC, thank you so much for that. You are awesome. And we've got 5-star Chicago. Probably got it wrong. But thank you, FM Accounting PC. Thank you as well. One Cool P. You guys are so awesome. 5-star. Thank you so much for all that. All right, I'm going to have to skip down. We've got Sam and J Mark. Let's see. Robin and Vicky and Stevie and Missy Monroe. Let's see, and Adam and Lashane and Reginald. How you doing? And Teresa, Deanna C. And let's see, we got Brian Walker and Adam, and let's see, Sam, Stacy Fuller. Hi, JJ, glad to see you live. Would love to see the IRS extend the deadline for all. Still so many moving parts, no doubt. And let's see, you don't pay yourself from PPP, Sarah K, if you are Schedule C. So go to my playlist for PPP forgiveness for the self-employed. You'll find a couple of videos on it, on point. And actually, believe it or not, they're short videos. You'll be surprised. Let's see, Sheila Tuttle. And are we still waiting a bit longer to file PPP 1 forgiveness? I am, and I'm going to reassess this after they decide if they're going to extend PPP. Because here's the thing. Think of this right now. Somebody files for PPP forgiveness because they, got a Schedule C, for instance, and it's like, it's so easy, put it in, it's going to get forgiven, you're done. Well, the person who put in for PPP forgiveness, even on a Schedule C, now cannot apply for PPP 1 again. My hope is that they extend PPP at the SBA beyond March 31st, and then those that, even if they got 1 and 2, able to go back and reapply for 1, like the Schedule F filers. But the thing is that if PPP forgiveness is filed, you're definitely on the outside looking in, and it seems like the IRS scratched that. It seems like the SBA is sticking to that. So that is why I say we still want to wait, in my opinion. Nothing's due until, at this point, the earliest has got to be July or August, because it's 24 weeks from disbursement plus 10 months. All right, well, I hate to do it. Kim Justice, good to see you. Kim and I have talked several times. Hope you're doing well. Down in the southeast part of the country. We've got Jackie Morgan and let's see, Stephen Wilcock, great to see you, and James and Kim, and let's see, Abid and Karen. Let's see, if PPP 2 gets caught up in the SBA hold heirs, and this does not get resolved by 3/31, will the SBA not fund the PPP loan, or does the SBA have until 6/30 if the loan processed before 3/31? Karen, my understanding is the second. I don't know that officially, but it seems as though, based on what came out in the last week, and Glenda found it, and so if you just Google it, but the Federal Reserve is the one that put out a recent notice talking about what that all means. But my understanding is that you need to have applied by the 31st, like you're indicating. And some banks are saying, and some banks are going with, it's got to be applied for and funded on before 3/31. So that's one of the reasons some of these banks are not going to accept applications, let's say after the 19th. You know as well as I do, Karen, that doesn't seem logical. It's not how the government works on anything else. So it does seem that if somebody's caught up, they can't get any answers, they should just go reapply. But if the bank's working through it, it seems as though that even if it quote unquote got funded, but I don't want to make a judgment call on that because more of the message is push through, get your application to another bank if things aren't working out for you there. Oh, let's see, I got CPA put out a request to the IRS. Exactly, yes, thank you. And we've got Sandy and LA Light Designs, Chuck Taylor, Risk Manager. We've got Tiny Dancer, and let's see, Glenda, good to see you. Hot Boss, Main Media, and Maria, hope you're doing well. Group 50, just to say hi to JJ. Thank you, Maria, good to see you. Thanks for being on. Group 51 in the house. Tony as well. Charlotte, good to see you. Charlotte was in my 12-week group. We've got Bryce, Fred Yeager, and let's see, we've got Karen and Dax and Alexis and John B. John Broadus, probably, maybe. Adalberta, and we've got Vicky. Oh, nice, Vicky. I took your advice and fired my worst client a few weeks ago. I swear I heard the angels sing, liberating. I love it, I love it, I love it. Congratulations. We're going to drink to that, everybody. Salute to Vicky. Grab your Coke or water, tea, coffee, orange juice, whatever it is. I got a little Johnny Walker Blue. So anyways, Vicky, excellent work. It is liberating. It is liberating. And here's the interesting thing, Vicky, is that, and I learned this from my grandfather, who was a CPA. If you don't know, Omar Abbott Slater, CPA, my mentor. He passed away within 2 weeks of me opening my own practice on May 15th, 1997, before the turn of the century. But one of the things that he shared with me is that when you fire clients, let it be known. One of the things that I did, I hit year 5, and we didn't really do emails back in 2001. But I sent a letter. I fired at that time a withdrawal. I was at year 5, and you're not going to believe I withdrew from 300 clients. Okay. They were the $99, the $75, the pain in the rear, the whatever. And I sent a letter. My grandfather had said, let your clients know, but let your clients know in a way that they don't get concerned they're going to get fired, but then they're going to know that you fire clients. So I sent a letter to all my clients, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know I really appreciate your business. I enjoy working with you. You are a wonderful client. And because of that, I wanted to make sure that you knew and you wouldn't be concerned in case you heard, but I just let go of 300 and whatever clients. And so I just wanted to say thank you. Well, I just met with a client yesterday, and he's been a client since 1999. As an attorney, I still go down to his office, still get on his computer, still visit with him, talk about the kids. We've known each other longer than some of our kids, and have been alive. And when I was done visiting with him, and I was then going in the side office, he said, "Hey, by the way, am I on the list of getting fired?" And I said, "Heck no, you've been a client way too long." Anyways, it still carries. People appreciate that you also choose them as well. So Vicky, I'm going to drink to that again because that's phenomenal. And sometimes it just takes one. And then my uncle, who was a CPA, said, every year the staff votes, and no matter what, period, the end, somebody goes off the plank. Always have to fire one client, no matter what. And he said, every year there was easily somebody they needed to fire, and it was good morale boost for everybody. But here's the thing. They'll find somebody else, and there'll be somebody else's problem. And now you have room to take on another client. We got Mrs. O and Alyssa, and oh boy, this must have popped down. And we've got 5-star. What's the time frame you can apply between PPP 1 and PPP 2? The latest that I've seen 5-star is 8 weeks. Now, at the beginning of PPP 2, it was 90 days, but it's definitely not anything we would be able to do between now and then. Let's see, we've got Delbert and Marcus and Randy. Only one, thank you so much. Only one, JJ the CPA. We've got Darling and Alyssa is saying blue horseshoe again. So we're doing it again, blue horseshoe. I got to probably do a little refill. All right, and we've got Carol. Carol is like our angel, at least when I have comments on. Carol's probably like, gosh, I finally got a break. Because Carol would go in and help people and answer questions in the comments. So she was like a saving grace. So I really appreciate that. We've got Linda, hello, Gen X, Empty Cup, that's right. And we got 5-star saying blue horseshoe. So blue horseshoe, everybody. I guess I better get a little more. As you can tell, I'm just doing tiny little sips. I hope that if you are not somebody that agrees with having a nightcap, that you won't be so offended that you will unsubscribe. We're just having a good time. What other kind of cup is there? Oh yeah, full. That's right, Alyssa. I love it. And we've got Christine. How long should we wait for the bank to fund the PPP loans? Christine, the banks around here, 72 hours. Unless the SBA comes back with questions, once they're resolved, 48 hours. So if you're much beyond a week, you would want to just potentially go find another bank. And then remember, if you applied on or before March, I think they changed the date to March 3rd. If you're under the old application, withdraw it, go and apply for the new one. This is for Schedule C filers because you'll then get the gross. JJ for SBA Administrator. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yeah, JJ, don't forget the dinner with Chloe. Yes, I appreciate that. I think Chloe is going to come here. Let's see. I'll just text her right now and let her know to come to the house. And let me hit send on that. And then what that'll do is it'll buy me a little bit more time. Hey, we've got 174 thumbs up. Thank you so much for that. Usually Amanda's the one that reminds everybody to do the smashing of the thumbs up, and so does CSR, which we appreciate. Yes, Jay says gulps, no sips, and so great to see everybody here. Let me make sure I'm going to circle back. And let's see, I see it looks like you guys are answering. We got MBS Business Credit. JJ, I had a client with a similar situation as Amanda, and we got tired of waiting and opened a taxpayer advocate case and got her refund. Hey, thank you for that. That's a great suggestion. I appreciate that. Yes, we're going to do it. And let's see, we got John. I should rephrase my question since they aren't letting us go back and adjust when we were funded on PPP2 with the old rules. Would writing our representatives in DC help? Yes, I was waiting for this new stimulus to come out, but I actually, well, it's on that phone there. I actually already have my thumbnail put together, but I'm going to do a video that says, help me help you, right? Jerry McGuire, and get back on. Let's see, my son's calling me, so hold tight. He's gonna probably call again, and so I gotta call him on the bat line here. And let's see, so hold tight. What's up? Hey, I'm on live right now with 246 of my closest friends on YouTube, and so I was calling you from the other line. Alyssa says, smash that. Thumbs up. Yes, what's up? Yeah, I can hear you. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, hey, uh, give me the nut of it, and I'll call you when I'm done because I'm going to wrap up here pretty within 30 minutes. Sounds good. All right, love you, buddy. All right. Oh, somebody's got some Captain America. Oh, we've got some bullseyes. Let's see. Yes, 5-star. Oh, I love it. Tax professional. Love it, love it, love it. And all right, so I have, for those of you that are not on my email list, I emailed everybody. So if you didn't get an email from me, you're not on my email list. And know this, I send out, I don't know, 3 emails a month or something. Typically the emails I'm sending out are the ones I send to my clients. I might tweak it a little. And I do tell you when I have seminars, and I do tell you when I have videos. I don't think I really use the emails to try and sell you anything. But if you'd like to be on my email list, then email JJ at jjthecpahelp.com. JJ at jjthecpahelp.com. Just put in the regarding line newsletter or something like that. And what I do in the newsletters is just like, hey, here's the recent tip, or hey, this just passed, or here's a video recapping. Want to make sure you didn't miss it. So anyways, I'll throw that out for you. And let's see. So with that being said, I had emailed and had indicated that we were going live. And so I'm going to see if I've got any. I know I have a few questions that came out of the emails. And so I'm loading up the Gmail right now. And let's see. All right. Oh, what is this? What is this? Hot off the press. So you may have heard it here first. The IRS has just made an announcement. IRS begins delivery 3rd round of economic impact payments. I think Phil Anderson said that he has seen that there's a pending stimulus payment related to that. IRS announced today that the 3rd impact payments will begin reaching Americans over the next week. And they're indicating that you can go to Get My Payment on irs.gov to check out the status. And the one thing to note on this is that they are no longer, if you didn't know this, they're no longer mailing out or sending out round 2. They sent the last one out January 29th. So if you didn't get by now the second stimulus that was a part of the Appropriations Act that came out at the end of December, then record on your 2020 return that you didn't get it. And then if you do qualify, it'll be part of your 2020 tax return as a refundable credit or a reduction of your tax at least. And they're just indicating that this one will be called the EIP 3, and it will be $1,400. One of the things to note is that it will only go, as I understand it, to the person that is claiming the dependent. So if you have those that are 17 through 23, someone had asked that earlier, if they can be claimed as a dependent, then they should be claimed by the parent, first of all, because that's how it's written. But what's indicated is that the IRS is going to send them the full rebate. They're going to send them the full, meaning they're going to send them the $1,400. It also includes, from my understanding, disabled adult parents that are claimed as dependents. And let's see, so the self-supporting college students would claim themselves. But basically, they've opened this up that more people are going to have their dependents qualify, and the dependents are $1,400 as well. The one thing you'd want to analyze here is, and I don't want to promote a strategy of getting more than you deserve, but we're in a pandemic, the stimulus is here for a reason, but they're going to base it on whatever you have filed last. So if 19's on file, they're gonna file it based, or they're gonna pay you based on 19. If you filed 20, they're gonna base it on that. My concern is, and I appreciate that the government and the IRS wants to get this out lickety split. I appreciate that the president wants to get this money out. And I'm just gonna say as a side note, if you didn't, and many people, you're not able to guess if I'm left or right, if I'm red or blue, if I'm a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. I'm glad for that. But I'm just gonna tell you, for somebody that I try to just call it like I see it. I just call it like I see it, okay? So I watched the president's speech last night. I didn't watch it coming in as like, oh, this is the greatest guy ever. I didn't watch it going, this guy's full of hot air, right? I just watched it, right? I just watched it. And I thought it was a wonderful speech. I thought it was inspiring. And if you're guessing what I am, you're probably guessing wrong, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, I thought it was a great speech, but it gave a real sentiment about the stimulus. This is why I'm pointing this out to you. I'm not trying to talk politics. But the government, the president, the White House, the Democrats, maybe the Republicans, but the Republicans, because I only say that because I know a lot of Republicans didn't vote for the stimulus. They want to get it out ASAP, and I agree with it. I think the unemployment should get out ASAP. Get that unemployment out. Boom, boom, boom. But on these stimulus checks, here's my concern. I was talking about it with Alona in my office earlier today, which is there are people that didn't do well in 2020. Their income is down in 2020. It's the year of the pandemic. It's the year of the pandemic. 19, this is obvious, there was no pandemic. So if you're sending out stimulus right now and you're basing it on 19, when you could be basing it on 20, I just wish that the Democrats, the Republicans that voted for it, or the government, or the White House, or the IRS would have said, hey, you know what, let's give it like 2 weeks. Let's give people a chance. Let's give them a little bit of time, that if they're sucking wind and their 2020 was down and they're sucking wind, that they have an opportunity to file their return for 2020 to show the IRS they're sucking wind and they need that stimulus. And the reason I can tell you this is that we had a client and we're waiting on third party, and they were sucking wind last year. They were doing well in 19. If it's based on 19, they don't get stimulus. And it's a rare circumstance. It's a client's parents. And at the end of the day, I mean, we got it filed as soon as we possibly can, but they're already sending it out. So my disappointment is that, for instance, on that client, if they're basing it off 19 because they're so anxious to get the money out. So it's a hard position. Obviously, I want the money to be paid out. No one wants to wait. No one wants to wait. But at the same time, the government, DC, Senate, House, Republicans, senators, independents, the majority leader, the minority leader, the House minority whip, the House speaker, okay? I mean, like, are you kidding me? Y'all kind of dragged your feet, right? All last year, July, August, September, October, November, right? No stimulus till the last days of the year. Great, glad we got it. Glad we got it. Then this last time, I mean, like they're out yawning. They're out playing golf or something. Like, what is going on? Like, well, we're gonna wait, and then we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do this, and then, oh, we finally got it passed. Glad. Now it's in law, and let's send the money out in 24 hours. Okay. I mean, where was your hurry? You waited 2 weeks to get the thing passed. Can't wait another 2 weeks. Can't wait another week. Here's the other thing. I mean, rent's due on the 1st. It's the 12th. Why not wait a couple weeks? Let people get in their 2020 return. Hopefully what you're hearing here is praise and some criticism, knowing that everybody's doing the best that they can. But this is another way of saying that if your 2020 is lower than 19, then get your return filed. You may have seen, I think for about 72 hours, might have been like 64 hours. I had a video up and I said, hey, wait. It was, I think I put it out on Monday. I said, hey, wait to file your return. Wait like 3 days, wait 3 days. Because my concern was that they were gonna say, hey, you can get your stimulus on your 2020 return. Or what happened right now? If your 2020 is higher or lower, well, it's gonna make a difference on the amount that you get. And until we knew the rules, right? But here's what I'm guessing is that the stimulus payments are gonna be based on probably those that filed their 2020 return, obviously already, if they're based on 2020, but it's probably my hunch based on those that maybe had filed the return. Cheers, Stacy. Had filed the return maybe by like March 1st or something. I mean, if they're already sending payments out right now, there's no way it's the person that filed on Monday has somehow changed what the IRS is gonna send out. I can't see that as a reality, because if they're already sending it, that means they had them queued up, which I'm impressed with. They had them queued up. But there's gonna be a lot of people now, they're gonna have to wait until they file their 2020 return to get their full credit. So anyways, I wish they would have given us just a little time for those that needed it to be able to file their 2020 return, even just a week. But nonetheless, the IRS has just announced, and so hopefully what they're also gonna announce, which I don't see, but hopefully what they're gonna announce as well is the way that they're gonna pay these out, if they're gonna be the same as last time, make sure that they get all the rules out there so that they're clear and in black and white, and I'm sure that they will. All right, so let's see. Let's see. All right, well, I got one here, but one's long. We've got a question here. PPP. So now I'm looking at emails here. Oh, well, shoot. These are, I may have to just go a different time with these emails because some of these are very long. I probably should have said, give me a quick question because all of these here. Okay, here we go. Karen Kalinsky, CPA. My question, some clients did not get funded for PPP Round 2 because they got caught up in the SBA hold errors. Lender has reached out and additional documents were submitted to try and correct. If they don't get funded by 3/31, do you think they lose out? Thank you, JJ and Amanda. And I think we actually answered it, which was hopefully not. I don't see that they will, maybe going a different route. So we had already talked that through. And we've got Tina, the CPA. Let's see, what is your suggestion on how to handle tax returns with unemployment that have already been filed? We are suggesting everyone wait and see what the states do before jumping to amend return. We want them to wait until 4/15 at least. Oh my gosh, Tina, thank you for, I don't know, Tina, if you're on. Tina, thank you for that, because that's an excellent point. I'm gonna be doing an unemployment video over the weekend. Thank you for bringing that up, because you're right. Unemployment may not be taxable at the federal level, but it could still be taxable at the state level, because in many states, unemployment is taxable at the state level. Thank you, Karen. So, yeah, I mean, if you got a state income tax, yeah, you would want to wait, especially if they've already filed. Now, obviously, if it's significant, I know that we sometimes would amend the federal, but then wait to amend the state. So if it's not a big deal, our software, we can say, hey, just amend the federal, and then we wait to amend the state, because if it doesn't change with the state, then of course they owe the tax on that. And so if Tina's not here, I'm gonna tell Tina, thank you. I am live and I answered your question at, what am I, about an hour, 1 hour and, what are we at? 1 hour and 50 minutes in. Okay, send that. And let's see, what other we got here? We got, let's see. All right, Glenda, my questions concerns the new unemployment rule for no tax prior to this change. Okay, so she's asking about some of the benefits. No taxes withheld, 2 credits, ineligible, gotcha. Okay, well, you know what, Glenda, that one sounds a little personal in terms of the info. So I don't think I'm gonna read it out loud. You were asking on a couple of different things. And yeah, let's see. And then we've got Chris Green, the CPA. Please talk about the credit for time when employees leave work to get COVID vaccine and they are sick from the shot. Oh, thank you for that, Chris. Yes, so they expanded on the Family Sick Leave Act. Oh, Jacob, thank you so much. I'll get to that in a second. They have expanded the Sick Leave Act and the Family Paid Leave Act. So if you have an employee and they need to be off even for a few hours to go and get the shot or go and get tested, or they're not feeling well after the shot, like my daughter wasn't feeling well, then that employer, if they pay that employee, would qualify for the sick leave credit. If you have a parent, now, you know what, I better say we might want to double check on this, but my understanding was that if you have a parent and they have a kiddo that has to go get a shot, or a kiddo that's not doing well because they got the shot and some recovery issues, that also would qualify for the family leave credit. So yes, make sure that you all are aware that for those that have to be out related to that. And let's see. Oh, any info? Oh, okay. So Lori, any info on the ERTC delays? I'm waiting for funds for 3 7200s from 2/1. Yeah, Lori, I don't know if you're on. I'll reply in a little more detail on that. If you applied for them on 2/1, right on the deadline, you should have got a letter by now if they weren't going to process it, because the IRS has been pretty good that if they're not going to process, then they will go ahead and send you a letter to say, hey, we're not going to do it. So if you haven't gotten the letter, that's a good sign. The other aspect is if you get the letter, because this happened with every single one of our clients, they got a letter and said, oh, we can't process your Form 7200. You filed your 941 before you filed 7200, which was false, because the letter even acknowledged that the 7200 was filed on this date, which was somewhere around mid-January to around 18th or 19th. And then we know for a fact that the 941 was filed right before the 131 deadline. Anyways, all the checks arrived. All the checks arrived either the same day. Some people got the check before the letter. So even if you get the letter, you might sit tight for a little bit there. All right, so we've got Jacob. I filed my 18 and 19 taxes late, and they still haven't been processed. Should I mail them again? IRS too busy to answer the phone. Jacob, great question. Definitely not. And the reason for that is it could be that they somehow process them twice. And it seems logical that you would want to go ahead and send it again. But the IRS has been, I think, pretty consistent even over the years that if it's not processing, you send it in, that you do not resend it. But here's what I would do, Jacob, is I would at least send a letter to the IRS. And if you have any, if you got some proof that you mailed it, send them a copy of that. If not, then send a letter that just says, hey, I mailed my 2018 and 2019 Form 1040 on this date. I've not heard back. Should I resubmit them? I was told not to resubmit them, so I'm not resubmitting them, but will you let me know if I should resubmit them? And I doubt you even hear back from them, but what you're doing is you're kind of putting a little insurance letter in there, if you will, that if they come back and they're like, well, you never filed it. And you're like, well, I mean, I sent you a letter, I filed it, and I sent you a letter. And if you don't hear it in 90 days, I send another letter. But I'll tell you this, it's usually 1 year before I would allow a client or recommend to a client, well, I guess we better mail it in. But then here's the other thing. Be sure to check irs.gov. Well, they may not be able to do it for 18 and 19. I take it back. You can try. Where's my refund? Probably won't be able to do it for 18 or 19 at this point. But nonetheless, you could try. And where's my refund? irs.gov. Fish around real quick. You'll find it. Put in some info from your 19 return. If it shows that they've received it, then they most likely would have received 18. But then know this, we have clients, I hate to say it, we have clients that we mailed in their return in August and they still haven't processed. And the IRS sent letters out maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago and sent letters to the clients and said, hey, you haven't filed your 2019 return. And we filed it obviously even on time. So because of the backlog, that's where we're at. So hopefully they will process it ASAP. And I would just send a letter, and then I'd send a letter again in 90 days if they don't respond, and then I'd send another letter. Keep trying. At some point, hopefully they'll be able to answer the phone. And usually what we do is we're calling the CPA tax professional EA practitioner line, but you figure out what their hours are and then start calling the minute that they open, maybe as a suggestion. All right, well, I'm gonna need to wrap up, but we've got Douglas Barnes. What if I just got my first draw February 1st, but I'm thinking about getting the second draw? Is there time for this? Douglas, unfortunately not. It's an 8-week period in between, is from what I understand. And originally it was 90 days. Now, if you got it February 1st, what I want you to pay attention to is they may be extending PPP. You may then have an 8-week period, because if you get to the end of, February, you get to the end of March, right, and they extend it into June, you might be able to apply in April. And then also, it might be that it's based on the gross, potentially even on your first one, if they allow us to somehow go back. So stay tuned on this one. And then we've got DV, got my first invoice January 20, opened my LLC March 26. Obviously lost income in 2020. How do I show loss of income, and should I apply as sole prop? So if you are filing a Schedule C, then you would have to file as a sole proprietorship. If you haven't filed anything for 20, got my first invoice January 2020. So from what I'm hearing is you opened your business in 2020. You'd probably have to run the numbers. So I'm going to tell you some information that you can't rely on because I don't know your circumstances. I think it'll be good information, but you're going to want to digest it, check with your advisors, maybe check with your bank, make sure this makes sense. But based on what you just told me, if you were a client of mine and I felt like I could just say, hey, here's what you do, it might make sense to do Schedule C now because PPP is based on your gross. If you just set up a business in 2020 and you're not sure how you want to tax that business in terms of if it's an S Corp or a partnership or a C Corp or a Schedule C, well, you probably haven't paid yourself wages. And PPP is going to be based on wages if you're an S Corp or a C Corp. Partnership, it's going to be based on net income subject to self-employment tax. So either way, but the thing you're going to want to look at is whatever you file with the SBA is what you'll need to file with the IRS. And the net income on Schedule C is subject to self-employment tax, which is a 15.3% tax. So you're going to want to be mindful of the fact that how you file is going to generate some tax. And if you start running the numbers, that's what you'd want to look at. Okay, if I'm Schedule C, here's my net income, I pay self-employment tax, but then I can get PPP based on the gross. Seems as though you work through the numbers, see what makes sense to you, but I don't know how you would qualify for PPP otherwise, except for as a sole prop. So hopefully that helps on that. All right, well, Jean, you're gonna be blown away, but Chloe said that she is on her way over, so I am gonna go ahead and wrap up. I'm gonna try and find a time to go live, and I believe that I've answered as many questions as I can. I feel like everybody that was gracious in providing some funds. I mean, look at this, one cool P. Thank you so much, so generous. I appreciate that so much, everybody. But I'm going to go ahead and I think I better wrap it up. I need to spend a little time with my daughter, and just want to say thank you for being on. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being a part of this channel. I do plan to go live again. Usually I try and put something out there to schedule a live so that people know a little bit in advance. So when I know I'm going to go live again, if I'm able to, depending on what's going on with my son this weekend, I'll be sure to put that out there. So turn on your notifications. If you're not a subscriber and you're still on, I love it. Take a minute, hit subscribe. Love to have you part of the family. I think I am over the moon that we've got 215 thumbs up. And actually, I'm looking right here. I had no idea. $569.99. Thank you so much for that. I am just blown away, honored. So appreciate you all. Thanks for being on the live. Carol, thank you. Deanna, PJ, and Charlotte, and Carol, and Darkwater Megs. Thank you so much. Darkwater Megs, hope you're doing well. I think Darkwater Megs was the first person that sent Amanda and I a thank you gift, which was just so touching. In fact, I'll grab it because I got it right here. It's always in the background, but it is a Megalodon shark's tooth, like a real one, and he sent this to us with a nice stand. So, whoops, hope you're doing well. And oh, that's heavy. Yep, didn't crack it. So anyways, good to see you. And J Mark, thank you. And Tool Daddy 75, thank you so much. Carol, thank you. I appreciate that. And Joni, thank you. Jean and April and DV and Jean and 5-Star, thank you so much, everybody. April, J Mark, Ed, and Risk Manager, and P Rick, what's going on? And let's see, Douglas and Salmana. I'm terrible about that. And let's see, Alyssa, hope you're doing well. Thanks for being on. And Deanna and Douglas and DV and Marcus C. Jones Sr., Ruth. And we've got Diane Rogan, maybe. And April. May have said Ed, but appreciate you. Alistar, thank you so much. And It's Neons and Stacy, Swanner, Teresa, Farukabad, and Good Stuff 101. And let me see here. We got a number. Got M. Wright, appreciate you. Thanks for being on. My Water Ponics, probably didn't say that right. Daniel's Family 4, and we've got Fred on. Hey, JJ, you need Amanda. I said hello a few times before you came on. I've been busy counting bricks. That's right. Have a great dinner with Chloe and a great lunch on Monday with Coop. I appreciate that. Oh, and we've got Duvall from New York. How you doing? Thanks so much for being on. And we've got Maria. Thanks for being on. And let's see. Yes, doing this on my own, it's definitely a different experience trying to get everybody recognized. So thank you for being on. We got Tina Dancer and Christine and Rob. Thanks for everything. And Tony D, part of a Group 51. And we've got Christine and Linda and Glenda. Thank you for being on. And Jean and Darlene and CSR and Randy and Marcus and Delvert and Dong Tran, Amy S. Shakur probably. And let's see, you all probably are already scooted by now, but Gen X and Miriam Cortez, MBS Business Credit, John B. And thank you so much to FM Accounting PC for your generosity, and 5-Star and let's see, and Tony D, and Glenda, and One Cool P, thank you so much. With Flying Colors, looks like it's not letting me go any further up. And we've got me, not me, 2008. Thank you. You helped my business so much over the last year. Thank you so much for that. That means so much. It's what a wonderful gesture. All right, let's see. Jason, what's up? And oh yeah, thank you, Alyssa. Let's do one more. Blue Horseshoe. Oh, I do have some left. Blue Horseshoe, cheers until the next live. Thank you so much. Maria, you're the best. Thank you for being you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We've got Candace and Jason and Alice Squire, probably, Hometown Bank. Signed papers today. Boom, off line 7. Love it. Hometown Bank comes through. Pepper Cola. Thank you, Tiny Dancer, and Jason and Carol. And let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. Me, not me. Thank you so much. Oh, and we've got Cherie and Andrea. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment. And Miriam Cortez, you have a great weekend as well. And let me see here. And we've got Sheila. Thank you, Sheila Tuttle, and Roxanne Fields. I really appreciate that. And Jason. All right. Well, cheers to you all. Blue Horseshoe loves every one of you. All right. Y'all have a great weekend. I look forward to going live with you soon. Answer more questions. I'll look for the emails that you all sent that we're going to answer live, but they're a little long. Curtis, can I expect my check tomorrow? Maybe. We have Phil Anderson on the line. He said he's already seeing a pending deposit that looks to be the 3rd round. And then I will do a update, but I'll probably just record it because I have all of this to go through with you, a detailed update. You can't quite see it, but I've got all these pages that I was going to go through and give you all some more details. All right, Rob, thank you so much, Rob. Good to see you. Let me know when you're ready for me to log back in, Rob. And Curtis and Glenda and Teresa and Carol and Curtis Brown. All right, here we go. Thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, y'all have a great one. Much love. Thanks for being on. Talk to y'all soon.